Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. We wrap up this show on this May 6th, 2023, and appreciate Allison Flynn, brand manager for AgriCenter International, coming in and talking about the Ketchum Lake Junior Fishing Rodeo, which will be next Saturday at the world-famous Ketchum Lake, right off Walnut Grove, near Farm Road and DU headquarters. And Bill Cooksey, you mentioned that you have the secret ingredient for all you
Absolutely.
All right, let's hear what it is.
Okay, we're talking farm-raised catfish.
Yes, we are.
Farm-raised catfish are raised on catfish chow. It's like a tiny dog kibble.
Okay, all right.
And I grew up around farm ponds where we had catfish, and we fed them kibble. And if you want to catch those fish, you get you some Bubblicious bubble gum or some good sticky, don't get the sugar-free stuff. You want sticky gum, a hook about a number 4 or 6. You don't want something too big because you don't want it to sink fast.
No. All right.
You put the bubble gum on that hook, and then you stick several of those catfish food pellets or a small dog kibble pellet onto that bubble gum and toss it out there on the surface.
Yep.
And that's what they have been eating their whole life.
Yep.
Okay.
That's a good tip, Bill.
That's a good tip from Bill, and that will be now known as the Bill Cooksey Doublicious Bubblegum Catfish Chow bait. But before we get into a little wrap this baby up, I want to get a little fishing and turkey talk with Bill, and, of course, I want to get that fishing report from the man who can do it better than anybody else. But been meaning to mention a couple of Mid-South legends recently passed away that I know you folks, one of them for sure, you know, folks in Arkansas knew James Allen Rooster Arnold. I did not know what Rooster's real name was, out of Curtis, Arkansas. He passed away, and he was well known in the bass fishing community. He enjoyed fishing, hunting, spending time with his grandkids, but the name Rooster, you just mentioned that, and you know a lot about him over in the Ouachita area and Lake Ouachita and Lake Hamilton and all those things. And then on Easter Sunday, we lost Jim Duckworth, who I had many opportunities to be at his media camps up at Birdsong and other places. And Jim was a boat maker. He made some tanks of boats.
Yes, he did. I rode in his boat at a media camp.
Yeah, you couldn't.
And I will tell you, you can't destruct them.
You cannot destruct them. But if the boat goes down, you're going down too. That's for sure. But touched a lot of lives in his lengthy career as a guide and a fishing writer and outdoor writer. But anyway, that's the late Jim Duckworth. And now let's talk. I've heard a lot of great reports, Bill, turkey-wise. I haven't had a chance yet. I've got my new Prime One camo outfit that I'm waiting to use, and I'm hoping to do that next week. But what are you hearing turkey-wise?
Well, you know, I've luckily where I live here, I can hunt just a couple of minutes from the house without even getting in the truck. So I've managed to make it a lot of, not necessarily a lot of long hunts, but a lot of early hunts.
Yeah.
And to give you some idea, let's see, last Saturday and then again on Wednesday, I got to hunt both those days. Saturday was one of the goblinest turkeys I have heard in my life.
Really?
And I got him.
All right.
And then Wednesday, I set up. I was walking in a bird star goblin, and I mean, Larry, he fired about every 15 seconds.
Ooh, that sends goosebumps up your back. Yeah.
Until those 6 hens roosted around him. Okay.
Oh, okay. He had plenty of women then, right? Yeah.
I've got me a lonely one. But, no, the turkeys are doing real well in West Tennessee right now as far as their attitude.
That's what
a lot of hens are pretty well nesting, but there's still a lot of hens around. So the birds are still fired up and doing their thing. So get out there and get after it on these when we have these pretty mornings.
And we've had some really great mornings. I know it's going to heat up next week, but the bugs will be out. The pollen is terrible this year. I know that for a fact. But and also, Ron, I'm hearing great reports. Talk about how this up and down weather has affected fishing.
Well, your area lake surface temperature will range anywhere from the mid-60s to the upper 60s. Normally it's in the lower 70s now, but we've had a lot of cold fronts coming through.
Yeah.
And For those that are crappie fishing on the I-55 lakes, there are still some crappie that have not spawned that are still shallow that you can catch wading. And the water's a little bit stained, but it's best to find log jams in the backwaters, wade those. Fish about 12 to 18 inches deep. With a black and chartreuse or a orange and chartreuse slab slayer or a crappie magnet, and just hold it still. I like to put a slab bite on there as an attractant to catch them, and you can catch them that way. They're also starting to move out a little bit. The power trolling is starting up, but the thing you want to remember there is the fish are going to be somewhere between 4 to 8 feet deep, and that's how deep you're going to be trolling.
All right.
And you must slower this year.
Okay.
Or this time of the year because of the cooler water temperatures, and they haven't gotten deep yet. And a good speed is somewhere around 0.8 to 1.3 miles per hour. Slab curlies on a fin spin works real well for that.
Slab curlies.
Or a double minnow rig, Caps and Coleman double minnow rig will work good.
There you go. Yeah.
For those that are fishing on the Tennessee River, and Bill, you may know this also, but they're still catching a lot of crappie on the stake beds that are fairly shallow. And I'm talking about stake beds in 4 to 8 feet of water. Some of them are still visible, but just a single jig with a jig pole will work them real well. I like a popsicle-colored crappie magnet with a slab bite on it.
Popsicle color.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Ron, I'm going to throw out because I've done this a lot this spring. I've been fishing an old Charlie Brewer slider.
Oh yeah.
And right where I am, we get a lot of pressure on these crappie, both from trollers, and spotter riggers, and then folks now with forward-facing sonar. And it's kind of used to. I did a lot of vertical jigging, even up shallow with a long pole, and the fish have gotten spookier. And I've been able to stay back 20, 30 feet from these shallow stake mats, and I've caught a lot of fish that you could see the water move when they hit. They were so shallow.
Really?
But if you tried to get your boat close to them, it wasn't going to happen. So that little slider jig is a fun way to catch crappie in these shallow stake mats.
Because of the action on it. First of all, those fish there that are staying shallow are staying shallow for one reason.
Why?
And that's to guard the spawn.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that's the thing you got to remember. That happens in bass fishing also. For the I-55 lakes, bass fishing is pretty good. A lot of fish being caught on a spinnerbait, especially with double Colorado blades, one gold, one silver blade, because the water is somewhat stained. Slow roll it through the bushes that are along the edge of creek banks where you have a foot to 2 feet of water. Also a black and blue jig with a purple scrounge bug will work real well.
I love that.
Then I've had a chance to field test a new worm on the market. It's a rage tail menace, which is a 6-inch worm with a menace tail on it.
Yeah.
And it's working well now. And your darker colors like black blue flake or June bug, especially around the bases of trees that are in the water. And for those going to Kentucky Lake or Pickwick, smallmouths are really, really biting well. 3.25 swimmer, which is made by Rage Tail on a 1/4-ounce jig head. I like to use a peanut craft lure. A 1/4-ounce jig head with a 4.0 hook on them, and just thread it through the swimmer, and just cast it out, count it down to 3 or 4 or 5, and slow roll it, especially on rock piles on the Tennessee River.
It reminds me when Ron does a fishing report, it's like the guy's going to ride the bull, and he's doing fine when it's in the stall. But when they open the door, get out of the way, And when you open the door for fishing reports with Ron, just get out of the way, I think that Bill Cooksey's the first one that's ever interrupted you, and you kept right on going right after he got through. I mean, you were holding your breath.
Well, Bill had a good point, though.
Well, he had a great point, yeah.
Because he was talking about
and you let him come right in there. Yeah. He was riding the bull with you.
Yeah.
But
he had some good stuff.
All right, I'm going to ask you one more dumb question here. Here it comes now. We've been in the 40s here for a week or so.
Yeah.
And now we're going to be in the 70s, 60s. So what's going to happen next week when the temperatures are 85 and everybody's going to think, well, the water temperature, I can jump in the water now. I can go swimming. I heard Bill.
First of all, Larry, next week we've got rain moving in most of the week.
Yeah.
Temperatures in the low 80s, mid 80s. Nights are going to be in the low 60s, mid 60s. Your water temperature is going to go up to about the low 70s, up to about 73 degrees.
Okay.
Fish will be shallow.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know right there. So appreciate Ron Wong, Bill Cooksey. It's always great to have both these guys with me on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Let me tell you quickly about next week's show, because I said we're going to have one of the Mid-South's best turkey hunters. We're going to have Hoot Hazelgrove.
Oh, yeah.
Hoot's been over in South Carolina. He's now back home, retired Marine. Wonderful guy. He's going to be in the studio. Gary Conklin is going to be in talking about the Fishing for the Kids competition. We're going to talk about not only is the St. Jude Bass Classic, we got the St. Jude Kayak Tournament going on too. And so David Best will be in there next week. And believe it or not, we're going to tell everybody how much was donated to the Hunters for the Hungry program this year with the Tennessee Wildlife Federation. How many pounds of venison went out to people who really needed them. So we're going to talk to Matt Simcock of the TWF on next week's show. Wow, a lot of things going on. Great show today. Thank you two guys for being with me as we always do. Again, I got a great report from my cancer doctor last Tuesday.
Thank you, Lord.
Yeah, see me in 2 months, and then maybe I won't have just to roll over and kick the bucket yet. I'm trying to make it. And don't forget, folks, before I go, May 30th, I will turn 80. I want all those presents shipped to Odyssey Radio here, 1835 Mariah Woods Boulevard, in care of Shelby McCall. Okay? And she can get them all.
And she'll keep them.
Yes. All right, guys. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Shelby. Let's do it. Y'all. Doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. But what else, guys?
God bless the USA.